The former governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Attahiru Bafarawa, has faulted the 400 billion naira demanded by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to purchase vaccine for the COVID-19, describing it as misplaced priority. According to Bafarawa, the money should be better used to tackle banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of insecurity in the country. Bafarawa, while addressing journalists in Abuja, challenged the Presidential Task Force to give a breakdown of how 3.5 billion earlier giving was spent.
That I spent for the task force, telling people what they have done, washing your hands, this and that and that. And then we are talking of spending 3.5 billion naira. At least we need to know, Nigerians need to know how this 3.5 billion naira was spent. Not just to hear that this money was being spent just to hear the figure. We need to have the breakdown so that we'll have a tease. We are not accusing them, but they should be transparent to tell the public what they have done with this 3.5 billion naira. And then secondly, look at the amount they are proposing to buy the drugs. Number one, almost 60% of Nigerians didn't believe with this coronavirus. And then for the task force to recommend 400 billion naira to purchase the drugs, we have to sensitize the people whether they agree to accept the vaccine. And then this vaccine has a lifetime. By the nature of our weather, now this vaccine has been meant for the Europe consumption. The heat, that even they are emphasizing the heat of the vaccine, it has lifetime, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. When the heat is over, it will become of no use. So how do you expect that to spend 400 billion naira to bring the drugs when people are not even ready to convinced to take the drugs? Supposing now people refuse to accept this vaccine, look at the waste of the 400 billion naira being done. So we have to sensitize people to agree that this coronavirus is real and the vaccine is real. So let them be convinced that because they are afraid of what happened in vaccine polo in Kano children. You know, it's open, everybody knows what happened. And then if you look at India and Pakistan, they decided not to use this Pfizer vaccine because of their weather. Because that weather of Britain or US is almost -70 cold. That's why India and Pakistan refused to accept the vaccine They prefer to have their own. So at our own position, look at the heat in Nigeria. And then when you bring this vaccine, how long will it take you to distribute it in the nature of our weather? So these are the things that people need to know so that they will be aware. So that it's not a question of seeking 400 billion naira approval for the National Assembly just to bring the drugs, and it's of no use. Whether traditional leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, it's a collective responsibility for all of us. If we are convinced that this vaccine is safe, then there's nothing that will stop us to tell people that yes, this vaccine is safe and they should accept it. So at least we are still waiting for the task force to hear for their own team whatever they are going to bring, and then we will ask questions. If we are satisfied, then we will start asking the religious leaders, the political leaders, and the elder statesmen to start working for the awareness. So this is what I'm saying, trying to say, instead of bringing the vaccine now, asking for 400 billion naira, let us start our people to understand this is real. But because it doesn't make sense for us to go and buy vaccine because we want to pay money to buy vaccine, and then people reject it. And then look at, we are going to waste 400 billion naira for nothing. If we put that 400 billion naira to buy security equipment, to help the security people, at least that 400 billion naira will bring more result than buying the vaccine.
Okay.
He, however, said if people refuses to take the vaccine, the 400 billion become a waste. He also called on government to sensitize people to agree that this coronavirus is real and the vaccine are real. In Abuja, Omole Timothy, Pride News.